Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR with an update on the tropics. Taking a look out there, of course, we had a Category 5 hurricane make landfall yesterday. That was Hurricane Felix. Only the first time ever that two Category 5 hurricanes made landfall somewhere in the Atlantic in the same season. Made landfall right in this region in Nicaragua. You can see what's left of Felix is still over Central America, but the rainfall has not been as staggering as, say, Hurricane Mitch or Fifi. Some historic hurricanes that devastated the region with flooding, but still the impact's very significant. We also have an invest out here near Bermuda. Recon went out, didn't find any tropical or subtropical formation yet, and I'll tell you why. And a wave or two leaving Africa, which I believe in about a week we may be talking about something significant from the Cape Verdes. First of all, what's left of Felix, you can see still a lot of moisture. What was the center is probably right in this region here. Again, it's not really discernible. It got torn up over the mountains. You can see, however, thunderstorms continuing to build as it's very muggy, very humid. I mean, trust me, I was in Florida in May. If I thought that was bad, I wonder what Central America in September is like. Very, very hot, humid, muggy, and that all goes perfectly with creating a lot of thunderstorms. You can still see a lot of mess left behind from Felix, and if any of this does get into the eastern Pacific or the Bay of Campeche, we'll have to be watched, but as of right now, I don't think anything will probably happen with that. Our Invest 99L out here, you can see a little swirl as the sun goes down. Note the convection up here is very high wind shear, and that's why we're not seeing any development. However, the models do indicate that it may do anything between a tropical depression or a Category 2 hurricane. That's the intensity forecast we're looking at. In general, if we see development, erratic, slow movement with a gradual bend off to the west and then off to the north, perfect ridging setup, and you could see that would put the Carolinas and even parts of New England and the mid-Atlantic coastline at risk. GFDL taking it just off Hatteras. You have other models down here like the UK Met and the no gaps into South Carolina. If you extrapolate the current motion, it'd be straight out to sea, but that's not likely to happen. However, do we get development? That's the big question. You can see right now wind shear it's sitting at is right between the periphery of very favorable wind shear to the south of it and extreme devastating wind shear to the north, and that's going to continue. You notice out here in the Central Atlantic and the Caribbean and the Gulf, conditions are absolutely astonishingly favorable for development. If we get anything off Africa, I don't see why it can't become another hurricane or even a major hurricane. And you can see even Felix still having that anticyclone here, even though it's over land. And here's another example. Our system's here, 10 knots, 50 knots, right on the edge of it. If it can get down a little bit further to the south, it might have a chance to organize more. Again, it's looking a little bit subtropical, not very tropical. And we'll see what happens with it. Certainly if you're along the east coast here, the mid-Atlantic, all the way up to New England, you'll want to keep an eye on it. Off Africa, this wave, almost all models agree that this will likely develop. Another wave behind that. I wouldn't be surprised if we get at least 2 storms off Africa over the next several days. This looks like it could be our next storm. And again, it'll be a race for names. If 99L does develop and become a tropical or subtropical storm, be Gabrielle, and then our next name would be Umberto. And so there's a chance that this could become Umberto if the one out of our invest develops first. And if we get 3 development, then the next name after Umberto would be Ingrid. So again, a lot of activity, certainly this hurricane season, very devastating. Hurricane Henriette making landfall now once again as a Category 1 hurricane here in mainland Mexico after crossing the Baja. It took a little bit further west track than thought. And this is actually an example of how one day we will see a hurricane that will probably follow suit all the way up and potentially be a hurricane into the southeast U.S. This could still bring moisture, but it's going to fall apart quickly. You can see the satellite there as it comes on shore. Beautiful looking hurricane. Nice ball of convection right there at the center. Infrared looks even better. Look at that ring right around the eye wall there of 90-degree cloud tops. Gray showing up. Perfect looking hurricane, deep ball of convection, very nasty if you're along the Mexican coast. Really very ideal environment. I'm very impressed with Henriette. I think it's a good looking hurricane, but certainly it's bad weather there in the region of Mexico. Finally, Typhoon Fetau in the western Pacific, winds of 90, expected to strengthen a bit as it makes landfall, and this could be strengthening into landfall in mainland Japan and then head on up You can see the satellite as the visible comes up out there, certainly looking better with an eye, better than it has. Bit larger. I'd be very concerned if I were along the south coast of Japan. Wouldn't want to be near the water over the next 24 to 36 hours. I'm Mike Naso from Internet Partnership Radio. Listen in tonight, 9 p.m. if you make it. Tropical Roundtable. We'll have the latest on Felix, Henriette, our Invest, and then our Waves Off Africa. If you miss it, check out podweather.com for the archive. I'll see you next time.